I'll give you guys a little bit before we get going. Adjust the camera some. What's up? What's up? Come on in, family. Come on in. Man, we got a good one today. What's up with you, Thomas? How... Rain Man, what's up, man? Just looking at the queen, she's struggling trying to get on her phone, so she's getting frustrated, so I'm going to have to send her some good energy. What's up with you, Scorpio lady? She's all embarrassed because I put her on blast. Jose, what's up? What's up? Baby Blue, what's up? What's up, Adrian? We're going to get started in just a minute. Just let everybody know we're waiting on the queen today. She's dragging. Daniel, what's up? All right. Man, family, we're going to go ahead and get started. What's up, babe? On behalf of my mother-in-law, man, may God bless each and every one of you that catch this live. For those of you who catch it on the replay, may God bless you as well. Man, family, first of all, let me back up. Happy Father's Day to all of you that are, to all you fathers out there. Man, I see you. You know what I mean? God bless you. Man, keep doing your thing. You know what I mean? Keep growing. And fortunately, we live in a society to where, man, a lot of people base how good of a father you are by how much money you spend on your kids. Don't get caught up in that twisted garbage. You know what I mean? That has absolutely nothing to do with whether or not you're a good father. You know what I mean? Keep growing, keep doing you. You know what I mean? Keep spending quality time with your kids. Keep creating memories. Keep teaching them things to think outside of the box. You know what I mean? Man, that's the greatest things that you could do for your kids. Man, they're not going to remember the crap that you bought them. You know what I mean? They're not going to remember the toys you bought them. They're not going to remember that stuff. You know what I mean? They're not going to remember the money you spent on them. Keep creating those positive memories. Keep spending quality time with them. Keep teaching them how to think outside of the box. You know what I mean? Man. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get started. Man, tonight we're talking about the dark nights of the soul. You know what I mean? Still I rise. Still I rise. Because it doesn't matter whether you go through a dark night of the soul if you don't grow out of it. You know what I mean? And dark nights of the soul. It originally got that phrase from this guy, John of the Cross. I believe it's John of the Cross. He was a Catholic priest back in the 1600s. He wrote this poem. And that's where we first started hearing dark nights of the soul. Although that different phrases was around since ancient times, but dark nights of the soul came from this Catholic priest who wrote a poem. And I want to say it was in Latin or Spanish or something like that. In the 1600s. That being said, man, we have to understand dark nights of the souls. Every one of you have to go through, every one of us have to go through a dark night of the soul. What is that? You got to go through some hard times. You got to go through some stuff that's going to challenge your beliefs. You got to go through some stuff that's going to flip your world upside down. You have to go through some stuff that's going to make you feel like you're going through a tower moment. For those of you that know anything about tarot cards or anything of that nature, man, you got the people been, jumping out of the tarot card. Everything's on fire. It's like everything that they build, everything is crumbling around you. You know what I mean? And that's the dark nights of the soul, where your whole world is just crumbling down around you. Everything that you're accustomed to, everything that you're comfortable with is making you go deep within yourself and is challenging your ignorance. That's the whole purpose of dark nights of the soul. It's going to challenge your ignorance and push you beyond where you're currently at. You have to go through a dark nights of a soul in order to get to your next level. They go hand in hand. And that's the reason why after Dark Nights of the Soul on the title, I put comma, still I rise. Why? Because you have to go through this period, this dark period. You got to go through this hell in order to get to the next level. This dark night of the soul is just a major life test. And so often we think that, man, I've gone through this, I've gone through that, and then just one big thing. Man, you're going to have many dark nights of your souls. You're going to have many tests in your life. You're going to have many obstacles and hurdles that you're going to have to go through in your lifetime. You know what I mean? In your lifetime, you're going to feel like you died multiple deaths. And you have to go through that in order to grow spiritually. You have to go through that in order to reach your next level. I used to tell people, man, I feel like I lived 5 lives, you know what I mean? And just this one lifetime, I feel like, and I used to say this years ago. Now I'm like, I feel like I'm on life 7. It's for real, for real. I feel like I'm on my 7th life, you know, in this one lifetime. Dark nights of the soul, it can look like anything, anything. For me, my first dark night of the soul experience was, man, it's, first of all, dark nights of the soul is gonna crumble you. It's going to crumble you. It's gonna fuck your shit up. You know what I mean? It's gonna fuck you up. It is what it is. You know what I mean? And it's not to destroy you. It's not to destroy you. Your dark nights of the souls are to teach you what you're made of. Stay with me. We're gonna go somewhere today. And so the first time that I experienced it was, man, when I was 2 years old, when my father murdered my mom right in front of me. And I'm crying out as this little kid and nobody's hearing me. I'm crying out as this little kid and nothing's changed. My mom's gone, my dad's gone. And boom, just like that. And my whole world was flipped upside down. I lost both of my parents at one time. Next time I went through another dark night or so, it was, man, I'm crying out to God, asking him to, man, God, just give me faith of who was it? Of Job. Give me the strength of Solomon. Give me the teaching ability of Paul. Give me the wisdom of Solomon, and give me the love of David. You know, man, give me these five characters and I'll do anything for you, God. I'll go anywhere you want me to go. I'll talk about anything you want me to talk about. I'll preach. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just give me these 5 characters, these 5 people of David, Solomon, Samson, Job, and Paul, and I'll go wherever you want me to go. And then I was molested. That completely messed me up. That completely messed me up. That completely flipped my world upside down. I went from being this loving, compassionate kid, willing to do anything for God, to being this angry, fuck the world, fuck God, fuck everybody. I didn't give a damn no more because I felt like, man, nobody gave a damn about me. God didn't even give a damn about me. So why should I give a damn about myself? And so what that taught me was, man, you're going to go through some dark periods in your life, but we have options. So many of us, we go through dark times in our life and we get stuck there. We get angry and bitter and hateful and we stay there because we don't understand that period that we went through, that dark night of the soul, was to teach us some things about ourselves for us to grow through. Most of us don't grow through that stuff. We go through stuff and we stay there. And we stay there because we refuse to see the lesson. We refuse to see the lesson. And so we stay in that darkened space. We stay on that negative frequency. And so what the dark nights of the soul teaches is, man, you're deeper than what you perceive. You're stronger than what you think. You're wiser than what you think. You could bounce back off of anything. Still I rise. Man, you could get up from this. I don't care what you've gone through. I don't care how bad it's hurt you. And many of us, man, that's falling in love when we're teenagers or in our early 20s. That first heartbreak, man, nobody thought they were going to survive that shit. You know what I mean? That first heartbreak was devastating. That first heartbreak was crucial. But we survived it. We survived that. And now when you think about it, it's like, man, I don't even remember how painful that was anymore. Man, I don't even remember. I know I was snotting and crying and boohooing and not eating and depressed and woe is me and the world's gonna end and blah, 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 blah. But now I can't even sit back and I'm trying to remember what those feelings felt like. I'm trying to remember how I felt during that time frame. I can't even remember that. That sting ain't even there no more. But at one time, man, it was the most significant thing to happen to me. You know what I mean? It was the most devastating thing. And so when you sit there and you start thinking about all these things, man, it's to teach us something. It's always to teach you something. Your dark night of the soul could be that you lost a pet. Your dark night of the soul, your parents could have left. Your family could have got divorced. You know what I mean? It could be anything. And that's why I tell you guys all the time, man, don't get caught up in all this religious stuff. And when I'm talking about religion, because you got so many quote-unquote people in the spiritual movement talking about, well, your dark night of the soul has to be this, and it has to be this, and that. It could be anything. It could be anything that devastates you. It could be anything that debilitates you, that cripples you. Anything that hurts you. Anything. And so I rock a lot of crystals, you know what I mean? A lot of crystals. And one of the things that God had to teach me was I always have this labradorite crystal. I love labradorite. Man, it's a powerful crystal, you know what I mean? And me and my queen have matching ones, right? And so this labradorite crystal, when you look at it, it's just dark, you know what I mean? It's a dark green color. But then when you put some light on it, what's up with you, Paul? Man, you start seeing different colors and different hues and different things inside of it, purples and greens and, you know, reds and just all kind of different colors in there, you know what I mean? And so what that taught me was, man, Elijah, you have to change your perspectives. This labradorite teaches you, man, you look at one thing, you look at life, you look at your dark night of the soul, you look at whatever it is that you've gone through, and you see this dark space. You see this dark period. And what you should look at, change your perspective. Change your perspective to be a more godly perspective. Change your perspective to be a more wise perspective. Go within yourself. Connect to your greater good. Connect to God, source, universe, and most high, whatever you want to call it. And you'll see it from a totally different perspective. You'll see the hell that you've gone through from a totally different perspective. You won't just see the darkness. You'll see the colors behind it. You'll see the beauty to it. You know what I mean? And so when you see the beauty to it, it's like, that's the lessons. That's the beauty behind it all. Man, because just looking at it from far off, it just looks like a dark thing. But then when you bring it up close and look deeper into it, man, I see the beauty behind it. I see the beauty in it. What am I saying? Man, I wouldn't be who I am now had I not gone through all the hell that I've gone through. I wouldn't be who I am now had I not lost both of my parents, had I not been molested twice, had I not lost close family members, had I not lost a wife, had I not lost a brother, you know what I mean? Had I not had the women walk out of me and take our kids away from me. You know what I mean? I remember my younger kid's mom, well, my oldest daughter, man, her mom was going through a separation back in 1992. And so my daughter was 2 years old. And it's a trip because I would go pick up my kids. My daughter and my son was just born. And I would go pick them up. And as I'm taking them back over there, I'll have them with them for the weekend or for a few days. And as I'm taking them back, my daughter started remembering where her mom lived at. And so as I get to the corner, she starts screaming and crying, no, 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 no one of mommy, no one of mommy. What she was saying, she wanted to stay with me. She didn't want to go back to her mom's place. She wanted to stay with me. And if anybody, I'm talking about this on Father's Day, because there's a lot of fathers that go through this. You know what I mean? You pick up your kids and you spend some time with them and they love you, but for whatever reason, the fucked up court system has it set up where the woman gets the kids most of the time right off the bat. You know what I mean? And so you got to jump through hoops just the visitation right sometimes, because it is what it is, you know what I mean? And so for fathers, man, you're dropping your kids back off and they're screaming and crying because they want to stay with you and you want them to stay with you, but there's nothing you can do to change the system. There's nothing you could do to fix this situation right here, right now. It is what it is. It's out of your control. It's court mandated. You got to take these kids back. And your daughter, your son's broken and they're crying and they're traumatized because you got to take them back home and they don't want to go back home. You got to take them back to their mama and they don't want to go to their mama. Or you got to take them to their dads and they don't want to go to their dads. And so they're screaming and crying and begging you to stay with you, but you can't. And if you're a parent, there's nothing like that that fucks you up. That's a traumatizing event for you and for that kid. Man, that messed me up. That messed me up because that broke my heart so bad. There's no woman that ever broke my heart like seeing my kids screaming and crying, and there's nothing I could do about this. I can't change the outcome of this right here. And I see my daughter brokenhearted and screaming and crying, and there's nothing I could do about that. There's no way I can console her. And so, years later, I went through the same thing again. You know what I mean? Got married, and my 3 younger kids' mom, she split up, we split up, she had the kids. And so, we had a son, we had 3 kids. I had 2 boys and a daughter with her. But the oldest boy, his name is Elisha. And that was like my little road dog next to my 2 older kids, right? And out of the 3, he and I was the closest because we spent more time with each other. And so she would bring him over. He was a daddy's boy. And so she would bring him over because he wanted to be with me. What's up with you, Lucas? He wanted to be with me, right? And so, man, it's time for his mom to come pick him up. And he'd be out in the front yard at the door just screaming and crying, no, 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 no one of mommy, no one of mommy. And that just broke my heart because all the neighbors are looking, everybody's outside, and everybody's looking at my son just acting a fool, just broken. He's laid out on the concrete ground right there at the door, just screaming and kicking and crying because he wanted to stay with me. But he had to go with his mom. And that fucked me up all over again. That was a trigger for me because I just went through this years before. This was 2004 now. In 92, I just went through that with his older sister. So 12 years later, I'm going through the exact same thing again. And I'm broken and crying like, God, what the fuck? I never wanted my kids to have to go through that. And here it is, I'm looking and listening to my son screaming and crying and kicking and carrying on because he doesn't want to go back to his mom. And there's nothing I could do about that. Man, there's a hopelessness that come over you when you got to go through that. There's a thing about, man, I'm just dying on the inside. You're just broken. Because no parent want to hear their kids screaming and crying like that. And there's nothing you can do about it. And so, man, we go through different things that breaks our heart. We go through different things that just crush us. Some of you, you've had to bury your child. You've had to bury a parent or a sibling at an early age. And that just put you on one and you just gone. And so we have to grow through these situations. We have to grow through. It doesn't matter what your dark night of the soul is. All dark nights of the soul come to help you. Every single one of them. I don't care what it is you've gone through. They all come to help you grow. They all come to help you level up. You can't level up until you go through this period. You can't level up until you go through this testing. You have to go through this major testing in order for you to go to the next level. You can't shortcut this. Most of us, man, we start drinking and smoking and doing all kinds of stupid stuff to put a band-aid on the pain, as opposed to dealing with the pain, as opposed to dealing with the trauma and learning the lesson. Because we see it as a negative thing. It's all bad. When you look at the crystal that I just had in my pocket, I pulled out, man, this labradorite, you look at this is all ugly, it's dark and, you know, spooky or whatever. But then when you look at it close and you see all the colors and all the different hues and you start moving it around, you start seeing different shades to it. It's like, oh, you see it from a totally different perspective. And that's the same thing we have to do with our trauma. That's the same thing we have to do with the things we've lost, the things that have broken our hearts, the things that have crushed us. I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. You gotta grow through it. You have to grow through it. And whatever it is that you're going through, it's there to benefit you. It's there to benefit. It's not gonna last forever. It's not gonna last always. It's there to help you. It's there to help you. But you have to be mature enough, you have to be wise enough to be able to go within and say, man, connect to God, connect to source, universe, your greatest good, and say, man, why am I going through this? What is this teaching me? What is it that I need to shed? What belief system do I need to get rid of? What thoughts do I need to let go of? What feelings do I need to address? You have to do the work. You have to do the work. This thing called alchemy. And you've heard me talk about alchemy a lot. There's a book called by Paulo Coelho. And I love that book, The Alchemist. The Alchemist. The Alchemist. One of the most profound books you can get. The Alchemist. And so, man, I learned from that book, man, we all go through stuff. Everything is energy. The alchemist, man, you look at alchemy, it's just transmuting base metals, just regular metal, into gold. Mental alchemist, spiritual alchemist, what do? We take all the struggles, all the dark stuff that we've gone through, all the hell, all the pain, all the trauma, all the loss. We take all the stuff that we've gone through and we transmute that energy. We change that energy to fuel to help us reach our next level. We take all the negative energy that had us trapped, that had us bound, that had us spun out on dope, that had us thinking about suicide, that had us thinking about murdering somebody, that had us twisted. We take all of that negative energy of giving up and whatever the case may be and changing that energy into positive energy to help me level up, to help me grow through the pain and the suffering that I'm going through. There's this thing called, man, the fool's journey. You know, everybody in life starts out on this fool's journey. Everybody starts out on this fool's journey. Most of us know it as the hero's journey. He doesn't become a hero until he goes through his dark nights. He doesn't become a hero until he goes through his pain, his hardship, until he goes through his tower moments, until he goes through his death. Every one of us have to die to some things. You have to die to some things. And what I mean die to, you have to let go of some negative, toxic beliefs that you hold. And you can only do that by going through the dark nights of the soul. You can only kill these belief systems that are ingrained in you by going through the surgery and having it stripped and cut away. Nobody wants to go through surgery, but everybody wants to feel better. Nobody wants to go up under the knife. Nobody wants to be pruned. One of the things I love about gardening Man, I would go gardening is very therapeutic, and God had to show me some stuff with gardening. And it's like every now and then your bush or your tree, grows wild. You know what I mean? Your tree goes big and it's just all bushy, and same thing with your plants. And God had to show me, say, Elijah, from time to time, you got to come out here and you got to prune this back. You got to prune your rose bushes back. You got to prune this sage plant back. You got to prune this rosemary plant back. You got to prune your branches on your fruit trees. Why? Because as beautiful as they are, man, they're not going to produce as much fruit. Why? Because there's too much leaves here. There's too many branches here. Cut some of this back. And by cutting some of it back, your fruit gets bigger. Your fruit becomes more abundant. More water, more energy goes into the fruit as opposed to sustaining all these branches and leaves. And so logic is, man, I want it to be as big as possible. But no, you got to go in and cut some of it away. Why? So that the fruit that it produces is healthier, is more vibrant, it's got more vitamins and minerals and nutrients in it. And that's what God, Source, the Most High, Universe has to do with us. We have to go through a pruning process. There's certain people in your life that can't go with you to your next level, so he got to cut them away. You can't take everybody from your childhood into your adult life. You can't take everybody with you. You can't have all your family members with you. You're gonna have to cut some of them away. And some of us, we don't want to go through that pruning process. And so what happens is Source, the Universe tells, man, you got to cut these people off. And we don't want to because we're too nice. We don't want to because that's family, that's blood, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. We got all these excuses of why we got to hold on to these people. Oh, that's just my childhood friend. They've been with me forever, and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. And we don't want to let them go. We know they're toxic. We know they're full of drama, and we don't want to let them go. Oh, that's just JoJo. That's just crazy Sarah. She'll be all right. That's just Pookie. He be on one sometimes. He's special. You know what I mean? And we gotta let them go. But we don't want to let them go. And so what Source to do is like, okay, I told you to let this person go. You didn't want to let them go, so I'm going to cut them out of your life. I'm going to make something happen to where you guys get into it and you're done and you're fed up and you can't take no more and you're going to cut them loose. God has told some of you to leave those toxic jobs, but you didn't want to because you're too comfortable. You didn't want to because the money was too good. And God is like, I told you to let that go. But you didn't want to listen. Okay, I'm coming in now and I'm cutting it away. I'm going to prune you away from this. Why? I know it's going to hurt you. I know you're going to bleed. I know you're going to cry. I know you're going to have a nervous breakdown. That's good. Why? Because I want you to go to the next level, and I can't take you to the next level with you holding on to this. I gotta teach you to trust me. I gotta teach you how to stand on your own 2 feet. I gotta teach you to stop being dependent on all these people. And so I'm gonna cause so much turmoil in your life, not you and this job, between you and this relationship. You're gonna beg me to take this person out of your life. Learn to let it go. What's up with you, Trina? Man, we have to grow up. We have to understand that, man, these dark nights, these challenges, these obstacles that we go through, they're not there to destroy you. It feels like you're dying. It feels like you're crumbling. It feels like your world is falling apart. It feels like somebody just came in and just picked you up and slammed you on your head and just fucked your world up. That's what it feels like. Why? Because God is trying to get your attention. Source, the universe is trying to get your attention. You wouldn't listen. So now they got to come in and shake some shit up. They're going to get your attention one way or the other. You wasn't in alignment to listen to them before. You wasn't in alignment to see the move. To be able to understand the signs. To know the voice of God. Okay, you don't want to listen? All right, bet. Oh, you don't want to spend some time talking to me? Okay, bet. You don't want to see the signs that I'm giving you? You don't want to see the red flags that I'm giving you? Okay, bet. Keep doing you. Now I've had enough. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to treat you like my child. Now I'm going to beat your ass. Now I'm going to discipline you. Now I'm going to correct you. Why? Because I got to get your attention. I got to get you to humble yourself. You didn't want to listen before because you act like you know it all. You didn't want to see the signs before. You wanted to ignore me. Now you crying out to me to help you. Now you pleading with me to kill you, to heal your broken heart. Now you pleading with me, why me? And this ain't fair. And man, had you listened to me, you wouldn't have to go through this. But you didn't want to listen. So I had to do something to get your attention. Now I got your attention, you're going to humble yourself. Now that I got your attention, you know my voice. Now that I got your attention, you recognize the signs. Now that I got your attention, you'll pay attention to me. You'll stay connected to me. So we have to grow up. We have to grow up. And growing up sucks. Because we just want to play and have fun and make money and do what we want to do and not be responsible for anything and not be accountable for anything. What's up with you, Joker? But we have to grow up. And so these dark nights of the souls, these challenging periods, man, that's the soul, that's God's, the Most High, that's the universe's way of saying, okay, time out. Time out. It's time to man up. It's time to woman up. It's time to put your big girl drawers on. It's time to put your big boy drawers on. You talk like you're a man, but you're emotionally weak. You talk like you're a queen, but you're emotionally weak and unstable. So we got to teach you some things. Oh, you want to be a queen? Okay, we got to humble you. You want to be a queen? Okay, we got to teach you how to conduct yourself. You want to be a queen? We got to teach you how to listen to God, or listen to the Most High, how to get connected, how to meditate, how to eliminate the drama. I tell people all the time, man, you look at Queen Elizabeth, and regardless of what you think about her politics and the family, whatever, the Queen of England, man, she carries herself a certain way. Anybody just can't walk up into the Queen's or into the Queen's presence. I'm saying it again. Anybody ain't got free access to the Queen. I don't care how rich you are, you can't just walk up in the palace. I don't care how powerful you think you are, how connected you think you are, you can't just walk up in that palace talking about, I'm here to see the Queen. If the Queen don't give you an invitation to come, you can't bring your ass over there. Karen, what's up with you? That mentality has to be our mentality. What am I saying? Everybody shouldn't have free access to you like that. And so when God cuts these people out of your life, he's telling you, you're carrying a bunch of baggage. You're carrying a bunch of drama. You're carrying a bunch of negative people that wants the rewards of being associated with you, but they don't want to do the work to elevate with you. They want to hang on with you. They want to hang on your coattail. They don't want to grow. They don't want to mature. They just want the fringe benefits of being associated with you. And you can't take those people with you into your next life. You can't take those people with you into your next area, into your next level. And so we got to cut them off. Everybody can't call you. Everybody shouldn't be able to just call you with all this negative stuff. Everybody shouldn't just be able to get on your phone or get on their phone and just reach out to you and tell you a whole bunch of stupid stuff. You a queen. Conduct yourself as a queen. Oh, you don't know how to be a queen. Okay, because you don't know how to be a queen, we're going to have to teach you how to be a queen. In order for you to learn how to be a queen, you're going to have to humble yourself and be taught some things. In order for you to be a queen, you got to get connected to your greater version. In order to be a queen, you got to be connected to God, the source, the Most High. In order for you to be a queen, man, you got to think positive. In order for you to be a queen, you got to be grateful. In order for you to be a queen, you got to be loving and compassionate. You got to be knowledgeable. You have to be knowledgeable. What are you knowledgeable about? We know stupid stuff. We know petty, insignificant stuff. A queen, man, that's the most powerful piece on the chessboard. The queen is. You walking around acting like pawns, calling yourself a queen. You walking around acting like peons, like nobodies. You letting just anybody associate with you. You let anybody and all their bullshit come hang around you, bringing that toxic energy into your kingdom, bringing all that toxic energy into your castle. And then you wonder why, man, my kids are acting up, and man, the frequency and the energy in my place just seem off. Look at who the hell you let up in there. You can't just let anybody in your house. You can't just let anybody talk to you on the phone. You can't just let anybody in your car. They leave behind energy, frequency, and it's toxic. This is why we have to purge. This is why we have to connect with God. This is why we have to go through detoxing. Man, in order for you to reach your full potential, you have to understand some things about your life. How do you detox? I hope you're detoxing. You need to be detoxing. There are multiple ways of detoxing. How are you detoxing? How are you purging the negative energy out? How are you releasing that negative, toxic thought process? How are you releasing that negative belief system? What are you grounding to? What are you connected to? This is so many of it. Man, blood is thicker than water, and I'm connected to my family, and your family is toxic as fuck. Your family is wretched as hell. Your family is ghetto as fuck. Ain't got no desire to grow and develop. Ain't got no desire to go to the next level spiritually. And that's what you're connected to. How the hell can you elevate being connected to that? You can't. That doesn't mean that, man, you think better of yourself than you think of your family. That's not what I'm saying. Understand that everybody has their own journey. Everybody has their own journey. I don't get mad at people in my family for the journey that they're on. Man, this is their journey. This is what they came here for. They got to figure this shit out. They have to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out my journey. I'm not mad at them because they live in their life. Man, peace and love to you. I hope you figure it out. If you don't figure it out, that's on you. They ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm going to figure my stuff out. I'm going to do what I came here to do. Whether you do it or not, that has nothing to do with me. I don't look down on you. I don't hate you. I don't disrespect you. I don't judge you or any of that stuff because I'm too busy focused on being connected to who I need to be connected to. I'm too busy focused on trying to reach my full potential to be focused and paying attention to what you doing and what you ain't doing and how you getting down. You just ain't on my frequency. That doesn't mean that you're less than me. It just means we're not going the same direction at this time. I'm not going to stunt my growth and development just to hang out with you on your frequency. No. And so we got to let things go. And that's hard. That's hard. We got to let loved ones go. That's hard. I get it. I get it. But this is what you came here for. This is what you came here for. You came here to be this beacon of love. You came here to be this beacon of light. How can you be this beacon of love? How can you be this beacon of light, this beacon of hope and compassion unless you've gone through some things and you've grown through those things? Because you've grown through those things, now you can inspire others. Now you can be a beacon of hope for others. Now you can speak encouragement into others. Now you can sit back and correct and challenge and inspire and motivate others. Why? Because you've grown through some things. Everybody go through things. Everybody don't grow through them. I'm gonna say it again. Everybody goes through things, but everybody doesn't grow through them. That's the difference. That's the difference. That's what makes you an alchemist, that you grew through it. That's what makes you the phoenix, because you grew through it. That's what makes you chosen, because you grew through it. You grew through it. Everybody don't want to put in the work to grow. And it is what it is. That's okay. That's their life. That's their life. Man, we have to grow up. We have to grow up. And we have to learn to change our perspective. If you have the same perspective you've had for the last 20, 30 years, man, something's wrong with that picture. I was coming out to, I was moving out to North Carolina last July. And I stopped in Georgia, and I spent some time with my younger kids. And I was talking to their mom one day, and she had made the statement of, she don't know who I am because I changed so much. And I'm laughing at her, and she's like, I'm still the same person that I was 20 something years ago. And I looked at her, I said, that's the problem. And she's like, what? All indignant, you know what I mean? She's a registered nurse. I think she just got her master's degree, so she's an educated fool. It is what it is, you know what I mean? But she's so proud of the fact that she's still the same person she was 20 years ago. And it's like, how the fuck can you be proud of that? Where's your fucking growth and development at? What levels have you gotten to in life? How can you be happy and proud that you're still thinking the same way you were thinking 20 years ago? Where's any maturity yet in there? Where's any great new growth and understanding? And I had to catch myself. It is what it is. She's happy. If you're happy, I'm happy for you. You know what I mean? There's no way in hell we could be together. There's no way in hell we could have stayed together. At all. At all. Because we're on totally different frequencies. Totally different frequencies. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. And it's not about your age. Because the truth be told, there's some people in their 20s that are more mature spiritually than people in their 40s and 50s. There's people in their 20s that got it together more so spiritually than most people in their 40s and 50s. So it's not an age thing. It's just a simple thing. Are you willing to put in the work? Are you willing to put in the work? Man, we have to understand that we got to do better. We have to do better. We can't get so complacent in life. We can't get so comfortable in life. And that's where a lot of us get stuck at. Oh, we got decent money coming in. We got a decent relationship. We got a nice place to stay. We got a nice vehicle. You know what I mean? We got a little money saved up and we okay. We're okay. And when you're okay, there's no growth taking place. When you're okay, that's a sign that, okay, hey, you're about to go through a tower moment. Hey, you're okay, you're comfortable. Man, you're about to go through a death moment. What am I saying? You're about to go through some stuff that you're gonna have to die to. You're about to go through some things that's gonna flip your world upside down. Because you've gotten too comfortable in life. You've gotten too lackadaisical. You stop taking your growth and development serious. You've gotten a little prideful. You've gotten a little arrogant in your growth and development. Oh, you don't learn some things, and so, man, we're going to have to humble you some. Oh, you don't learn some things. You don't elevate it some, and you see that you've elevated some. You see that you've grown some, and now you don't got, you starting to feel yourself. You popping your collar. You trying to flex and floss and all this stupid stuff. So we're going to break you back down a little bit. We're going to humble you some. Why? Because we have to get you to grow up emotionally. You have to grow up emotionally. And the hard thing for the great majority of us, truth be told, we go through this and we go through it alone. We go through it. And this is a great thing with social media. This is a great thing with this platform and platforms like this. You know what I mean? Where we're connected with other people. And when we're going through things, man, we can get on platforms like this and we can grow together and we can reach out to other like-minded people and send each other energy and talk to people on the same frequency. In the past, before internet and all this other stuff, man, you were kind of stuck. You were stuck. You're going through your dark night of the soul, and if you're around people that ain't trying to grow, people that don't understand where you're at in your spiritual development, man, they're gonna ostracize you, and they're gonna look at you, you're crazy, and you're twisted, and you're demented, and and you're gonna feel like you're all alone. There's nobody that think like me. There's nobody that's going through what I'm going through, and there's nobody that understands me, and man, it's this whole bad thing that we get stuck in. The cool thing about these platforms is that as we're going through these things, we can reach out to other people and we're hearing other people talk that's like-minded. And so we could draw energy and strength from that. Oh man, Elijah went through that. Elijah's been homeless before. Elijah's gone through that. Elijah was a single parent. Elijah's been divorced. Elijah's been broken, busted, and disgusted. Elijah's gone through this, or you went through this, or Scorpio lady's gone through this, the Queen's gone through this. Scott's gone through this, Jose's gone, man, now that encourages me because I know I'm not alone. That encourages me because if they could go through it, then I could go through it. If they went through it and they came out, then that gives me hope that I could come out of this. I could survive this. I could survive this. This is not gonna kill me. It's gonna hurt me. It's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna fuck some shit up. But ultimately, it's gonna help me. It's going to benefit me. And again, you guys hear me say all the time, everything, not some things, not most things, everything is always working out for our good. You gotta get that stuck in your DNA. You gotta get that stuck in every fiber of your being. Everything is always working out for me. So no matter what I'm going through, man, this is gonna teach me some things. No matter what I'm going through, this is gonna help me with some stuff. No matter what I'm going through, no matter how painful it is, no matter how lonely it is, no matter what people are saying against me, no matter how many people walking out of my life, no matter how bad my business is failing, and no matter what my job is doing, and all this other crazy stuff that's going, man, it's always going to work out for me. I just got to stay connected to God, to Source, the Most High, to my greater good. I got to stay positive. I got to stay on the right frequency. I got to stay grateful. I got to stay positive. I got to stay connected to the fact that, man, this is going to benefit me in some way, shape, or form. I don't see it now. I don't understand it now. But it's going to make sense after a while. It didn't make sense to me when I was 2 years old why my father murdered my mom. It didn't make sense to me why I lost my mama the way I lost her. It didn't make sense to me why I lost my dad. It didn't make sense to me at 6 years of age why I had to be molested on 2 different occasions. Every time I got my heart broken, it didn't make sense to me. Being a single parent for 8, 9 years of 2 kids, it didn't make sense to me. I didn't understand it at the time. I just had to go through the process. I had to go through the surgery of being groomed and being pruned. I've been taught some things. You got to go through the process. You got to trust the process. And it's easier to accept the process and it's easier to trust the process when you believe that everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Because I've gone through all the hell that I've gone through, man, I could get up and talk to anybody. Because I've gone through all the hell that I've gone through, I could talk to I don't care what color nationality or what color their skin is. I don't care what gender they are. I don't care what their religious beliefs are. I don't care about their political beliefs. None of that stuff, man. I could talk to anybody and carry on a conversation with them. Because I've gone through all the hell that I've gone through, man, I'm a lot more compassionate than I would have been. I'm a lot more understanding and patient than I would have been. Because I've gone through what I've gone through, I could talk men about, man, missing their kids. I could talk to men about women abandoning them and just running off with somebody else and all this other crazy shit. I could talk to women about being a single parent. I could talk to the men about being a single parent. Because I've gone through those things. I could talk to people about losing a spouse because I've gone through that. Man, we got to understand, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. It's always good. Even in your darkest time, it's good. Even when things look black and bleak and just like it's just chaotic, it's good. It's good. It's good. You're going to reach your full potential. Just like that seed being buried in the ground. And it's dark down there. And it's lonely down there. You ain't got no other seeds down there with you. You by yourself in that hole. And now they're covering you up with dirt and manure and all kind of crap. And you're buried in crap. You're buried in darkness. That's part of the process. That's part of the process. You have to go through that process in order for your roots, for your shell to crack open of the seed, in order for your roots to start digging deep, in order for the plant, the tree, or whatever to break through the ground. You gotta go through that loneliness. You gotta go through that isolation period. You gotta go through that darkness. You gotta go through that loneliness. It's part of the process. It is what it is. Stop fighting the process and sit back and just fold your hands and, man, trusting the fact, man, it's all good. It's going to work out for me. And you're going to have people talking about you. You're going to have people saying you're crazy. You're going to have people tripping. Oh, you're just too optimistic. You're just too da-da-da. And just man, it is what it is. You say what you want to say. You know what I mean? I'm good. I'm good. And you got to believe that. People are going to look at you, man, how can you be so peaceful? How can you have the joy that you have? How can you just be so nonchalant? And it's not that you're nonchalant. You're sitting there in peace. You're sitting there in the joy, knowing that, man, it's always working out for me. I don't have to fight. I ain't got to argue with you. I ain't got to politic and try to control stuff. I can trust the process. So many of us, we're fighting against the process because we're control freaks. So many of us, we're fighting against people and things because we don't want to go through it because it's uncomfortable. And so we're trying to control the circumstances. And with the Most High is saying, nah, shut up and sit back and trust the process. Shut up, sit back, let go of your illusion of control. Let go of your illusion of control. The only thing that you can control is how you respond. The only thing that you can control is your frequency. You can't control the circumstances around you. When you're going through the fire, when you're going through the hell, when you go through your dark nights, you can't control that. All you can do is sit back and smile, knowing, man, this is all good. This is preparing me. This is getting ready to launch me to my next level. And so when I look at it as, man, this is not some obstacle. This is not some test. This is not some challenge that I got to go through. That's all negative thought process. That's all negative connotations. Anytime you see it as a test, anytime you see it as a challenge, as an obstacle, that's negative. Stop looking at life and things that happen as negative. That lowers your frequency. So when you're going through your dark nights of your soul, you're going through your challenges, whatever it is you're going through, sit back and look, it's like, gratitude. Gratitude. Man, I don't understand this, but I know that this is preparing me for my next level. I don't understand this. This hurts. It's uncomfortable. It's messing up my belief system. It's shaking up some stuff, but it's preparing me for my next level. It's getting rid of some negative things that I've been holding on to. It's reshaping my belief system. And so it's all good. It's all good. It's hard, but it's good. And it's hard because my ego doesn't want to let go. It's hard because, man, it's challenging. It's lonely. It's lonely. And it's not ending as fast as I would like to end. And that's all part of the ego being killed. That's all part of the ego losing part of its control. Man, we have to grow up. You know what I mean? We have to grow up. The dark nights of the soul, that's any challenge that you go through that's shaping your life, that's preparing you to go to the next level. That's all it's doing. It's giving you some knowledge and some wisdom and preparing you to go to the next level. It's giving you knowledge and wisdom and understanding and stripping away some negative beliefs, some negative thoughts, some negative patterns. So it's taking some stuff from you, but it's giving you some stuff. It's teaching you patience. It's teaching you to look at things from a different perspective. It's teaching you to be more grateful. It's teaching you to be more compassionate, more understanding, more tolerant. We have to grow up. We have to grow up. One of the hardest lessons, one of the most challenging lessons, I shared this many times here on this platform, when my wife passed away, or before she passed away. We lived in California, and we would go to Fresno to this antique jewelry, not antique jewelry, but to this antique shop. Love collecting antiques, and was at this antique shop. And we both had this affinity for Asian culture. She loved Japanese culture. I was more inclined to the Chinese culture. But there was these 7 porcelain dolls that she wanted, that we'd been looking for forever but couldn't find. 7 virtuous women. And we looked all over for these dolls and couldn't find them. And so we go to this antique store in February of 2015. And we just found out that she had stage 4 breast cancer. And so her birthday's in March 7th. And so I know, man, this is her last birthday. This is her last Valentine's Day. This is it. You know what I mean? I don't know how much time I got left with her. Stay with me. We're talking about the dark nights of the soul, still I rise. And so I know that this is it. What's up, Paul? Man, this is it. You know what I mean? She's gone. It could be any time. They gave her 6 months max. You know what I mean? And so I know this is my last birthday with her, my last Valentine's Day with her and all that. So it's like, I got to go out this year. And so we're at this antique store in Fresno. And there's this guy there that who owned the store. And homosexual gentleman. And just flamboyant and just on the phone and just talking. And his voice just irked me. his voice just got on my nerves. I couldn't stand his voice. You know, it's just like, ugh, it just made me cringe. You know what I mean? Stay with me. Man, I had to grow up. I had to grow up, and God humbled me. Stay with me. And so his voice was just so irking to me. You know what I mean? And he was always on the phone every time we went up there. You know, he was always on the phone and just being flamboyant. And so I was in the back of the store, and I saw this huge statue, Chinese statue of a mud man, right? And it was almost $500 for this statue. It was $495, right? And that's before taxes. And it's like, man, bet. You know, because my birthday is February 20th, and it's not even Valentine's Day yet. It's like, man, I'm gonna buy this for me for my birthday, right? And so I'm going to go get the guy because I want him to talk to me about the statue, what it means, where it came from, what's the history behind it, and man, I want it, right? And so I go to where this guy's at, and he's putting up some stuff in the curio, right? And I walk up to him. My wife is on the other side of the store looking at some stuff. And he's standing there on the phone, just, hey, you know, just being real, being him. You know what I mean? And his voice, again, just made my skin curl. You know what I mean? My skin was just crawling, just like, ugh. It was like, I gotta talk to this guy, right? Just annoying. I'm annoying. You know what I mean? I didn't realize how intolerant I was. I didn't realize how judgmental I was. Stay with me. And so, man, I see him putting up these porcelain dolls. And I'm like, this is what me and my wife at the time was looking for. These are the 7 virtuous dolls, the 7 virtuous women that she's been wanting since before we got together. You know what I mean? And it's like, I started laughing to myself. It's like, man, all right, God, for her last birthday, for her last Valentine's Day, it's not a coincidence that I see these now. Stay with me. And so I'm talking to him about these pieces. I forget about the mud man. And I'm talking to him about these pieces. And he's like, okay. He's like, do you still want to go see the mud man? It's like, no. Let's talk about these pieces first. And so I'm asking him about these pieces. And they were almost $2,000 for the 7 pieces, right? And so I'm like, oh, snap. You know, I didn't have that much money on me at the time. I said, well, so he starts breaking them down. Okay, these 2 huge pieces are, I can't remember how much they were a piece. And then the other pieces, I said, well, he's like, hey, he said, like, hey, we have layaway. I said, okay, what's your layaway? He said, you could buy a couple of pieces now, and you could buy some now, and you could come back in 30 days and get the other pieces. I said, oh, bet, deal. And so he was like, well, which pieces do you want? And I said, I don't know. Let me call my wife over. So I called Cecilia over, and she saw them. She just put her hands in her face and got teary-eyed and everything. I'm like, pick out your 3 pieces. And she was like, 3 pieces? Like, yeah, just pick out 3 pieces. He's going to let you take those home today. Whatever 3 pieces you pick out, they're yours. You know, the other 4 pieces are going to be yours too, but I got to come back in a week when I get paid and get those for you. Happy Valentine's Day, happy birthday, right? She's excited. The dude wraps him up. He's just all excited because I'm getting these for her. You know what I mean? And so we get the pieces and we go home. A week later, I go back, collect the other pieces, pay them, and go home. She died at the end of the year. And I hadn't went back up to the store. And so it's my birthday, February 2016. I'm getting ready to go to China. And I'm like, okay, well, before I go, I'm gonna go to the store up here in Fresno. I wanna see if this guy still has his mud man up here. I said, because I wanna buy this for me. This is gonna be my birthday present. So I walk up there and I walk in the store. And I hadn't been there since I got those last pieces for her. And so I walk in the store and I'm walking to the back. And I can hear the guy on the phone still, right? And I'm still like, oh, just cringing because of his voice, right? And I walk to the back and I see the piece. And I light up. It's like, yes, thank you, God. You preserved it for me. You kept it for me. And so I go get the guy, and we're walking back to the stone piece. And he asked me, he's like, hey, where's your beautiful wife at? I love her curly hair and how her makeup was. And she had the most beautiful makeup and da-da-da-da. And he doesn't know that she had just passed away. She passed away December 2015. It's February 2016, right? And I just look at him, and we're in the back of the store right in front of the mud man. And I just look at her, and tears start running down my eyes. And I said, she passed away 2 months ago, breast cancer. And this guy just starts bawling, just crying and just crying hard, right? And he reaches out and gives me this big bear hug. And I'm freaked out. You know what I mean? I'm freaked the hell out. Stay with me. We're talking about, you know, what is it? Dark nights of the soul, and still I rise. And so I'm in this low state of my life. I'm in this low place in my life because I just lost my wife. Life can't get any worse than this. And so this guy's giving me this bear hug, and he's bawling. And the first thing went through my head was, oh my God, this dude is hugging me. And he's crying, right? And so I'm thinking, man, what are people gonna think if they see this guy crying? They're gonna think I'm doing something to him, right? And so I'm just tripping out. And he just doesn't let up. He's just holding me and hugging me, right? And in that moment, family, in that moment, I shared this before, I felt more God from that homosexual man. And what I mean by that, I felt the energy of God. I felt the presence of God from this guy giving me a hug and just squeezing me. Than any of the Christians that came around for the funeral, that was around before, you know, after the funeral. No Christian that ever made me feel like that. All the Christians that I ran into, they had all these Christian cliches. Oh, God had to take the prettiest flower home, and God wanted this pretty angel back in the kingdom with him. And all this stupid shit I wasn't trying to hear. Nobody's trying to hear that crap. You know what I mean? All they had was cliches and scriptures. Nobody trying to hear that bullshit. You know what I mean? I wasn't trying to hear that bullshit. And it felt so fake and so superficial. And it's like, you didn't have nothing else to say, so you just threw out some fucking scriptures. You didn't have nothing else to say, so you just gave me these sorry ass cliches. And they're thinking that's gonna make me feel better. It'd have been better for you to just keep your motherfucking mouth shut. You know what I mean? I'm on one. Stay with me, because I'm broken. And so this guy is hugging me. And I felt this peace come over me. That's how I knew that it was God. This peace from the crown of my head went all the way down my feet. I felt the presence of God. And he stopped and he looked at me and he said, man, I remember you now. I remember you. You bought your wife those 7 virtuous dolls. You wanted to buy this statue. You wanted to buy it for your birthday. But instead, you bought those dolls for your wife. I remember you. God's gonna bless you. Man, you're such a beautiful person. You're such a beautiful spirit. You're such a loving man. God's gonna bring a beautiful woman into your life. This is what this man is telling me. God's gonna bring a beautiful woman into your life. God's gonna bless you with a beautiful woman, with a beautiful wife. You deserve that. You're gonna get that. And that statue, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gifting you that statue. That $500 statue, this guy just gave it to me. He just wrapped it up, didn't charge me anything, just gave it to me. And I gave him a hug as soon as he said he was gonna give me the statue, because I couldn't believe that this man who I was condemning to hell for being homosexual, this man who was just irking the fuck out of me because of his voice, this man who I was condemning and so judgmental against, didn't know nothing about him other than the fact of how he talked. And I was judging him and blasting him to hell. Just his presence irked me. And the same man God used to humble me. The same man God used to break me down. The same man God used to gift me something. None of the fucking Christians gave me a damn thing. They gave me some fucking scriptures and some fucking cliches. You know what I mean? Nothing. But this man, this homosexual man, put me in the presence of God. This homosexual man gifted me a $500 statue. Just for being me. So I get the statue and I go out to the truck and I sit there in the truck in the parking lot and I'm crying. I'm broken and shook. I'm shook to my bones because just minutes before I'm ready to send this guy to hell, just minutes before I'm judging this guy as being useless and not a man, and whoop-de-whoop-doo, I'm going in on this man in my head. And God used that same man to show me my fucking arrogance. God used that same man to show me my fucking judgmental ways. God used that same man to humble me and teach me a valuable life lesson that would stay with me the rest of my life. What's up with you, Wahid? And so God used this man to blow my mind. Why am I sharing that? Because out of that darkness, I rose. Out of the darkness of losing my wife, out of the darkness of being so judgmental, out of the darkness of being so fucking arrogant and all-knowing and condemning, God used a man that I was condemning. God used a man that I thought less than of to become one of my greatest teachers. This homosexual man who I didn't give a crap about, didn't think nothing about, he irked me. Just his presence, just his voice made my skin curl. And God used him to be one of my greatest teachers. I've sat up under many great men, but God used this man to teach me a profound life lesson. We have to grow through what we go through. If we don't grow through it, we're gonna have to keep going through it again and again and again and again until you learn the lessons. So many of us, we've gone through the same crap over and over and over and over because we refuse to get connected to God, because we refuse to get connected to our greatest good, get connected to source and humble ourselves and look for the lessons. We became so dogmatic, so angry, and so bitter, so hateful at the people who did whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop, never even understanding that God was using them to teach us some things. We're so mad at being molested, so angry at my dad that I didn't even see the lesson. I couldn't even comprehend that there was a lesson in there, because all I could see was my rage and my anger and my hurt. And so God had to bring me back to that labradite. You got to learn to see life from a totally different perspective. You got to learn to see life from a different angle, from what you've always seen it as. If you continue to see life the same way you've always seen it, you're never going to grow. You're never going to heal. You're never going to see the lessons. You got to get outside of yourself. And you can only get outside of yourself by going within to your greater good, by going within to source, to God, to the Most High, and seeing your life, seeing your circumstances through their perspective. Why through their perspective? Because that's infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom. As long as you're looking at life and these lessons, you don't even see them as, you see their situations. As long as you see your situations from your perspective, it's tainted. It's tainted with hurt. It's tainted with your ego. It's tainted with trauma. We can only see the real by going within and being connected with God, the Most High, being connected to love, to infinite wisdom, infinite knowledge. Now when you see life, now when you see your life, you see all the hell that you've gone through, all the hell that's around you. Now you're able to see it through the perspective of infinite wisdom, infinite knowledge, infinite love. And now you have a greater perspective. You have the correct perspective. And because you have the correct perspective, you can sit back in peace. You can sit back and not trip, not wig out, not lose your mind. Because you see it through the right lens. You see it through the right lens. And until you get to that maturity, you're going to keep going through the same stuff over and over and over and over. Why? Because you're not being punished. The source, God, the Most High, is trying to get you to learn some things. They're trying to elevate you. But you have to learn the lessons in order to get elevated. You got to humble yourself. You got to get connected to God. And when you get connected to God, to the Most High, you don't see those things as negative anymore. You don't see that stuff as toxic anymore. You see all that stuff as beneficial. I needed that. I needed that. I had to go through that. I had to experience that. Why? So I could learn the things that I learned. So that I let go of the things that I let go. I had to lose my wife. I had to experience this guy again. Why? Because I had to let go of some things. I had to let go of that arrogant, ignorant thought process on homosexuals. I had to let go of that negative frequency, that negative belief system, that judgmental nature. I had to humble myself. And it was only after humbling myself that I was able to get connected to the Most High. And once I was able to get connected to the Most High, I was elevated. I was elevated. The trip is, I didn't even have to pay for the statue. The statue was $495, not counting taxes. And I went there with the cash in my hand to pay for it. Whatever it was, I was going to pay for it. But I didn't have to pay for it. All I had to do was humble myself. All I had to do was get connected to God. All I had to do was let go of some negative thinking, some toxic belief systems. And once I let all that go, the statue was just given to me. And in divine timing, my queen here was given to me. So this homosexual man prophesied the word of God to me and told me how God was going to bring this beautiful woman into my life. That I deserved her. That I was going to get it because of who I was. And he only saw me as that because I had humbled myself and got connected to God. You ain't got to fight, family. You ain't got to politic. You ain't got to connive. You ain't got to manipulate nobody. Man, you can have the desires of your heart if you get on the right frequency. If you get on the right frequency, you'll stop seeing all your circumstances as negative. You'll stop seeing all the stuff that you've gone through as negative. Man, I've gone through hell, but I'm so grateful for it. I'm so grateful for being in the family of experiencing all that I've experienced, of seeing my father murder my mom, of being molested, of having my heart broke over and over and over again. I'm grateful for those things because they taught me so much. They taught me so much. My hope and prayer is that you get connected to God. You get connected to the Most High. And you stop looking at your circumstances. You start looking at the negative things that you're going through, the negative things that you've gone through. You stop looking at those things as negative things. And you start looking at them as, man, there were beautiful lessons for me to teach me some stuff, to help me get rid of some things, and to help me elevate. That's all they are. That's all they are. Tools to help me get rid of some thought processes, some negative thought processes. Get in alignment with God. Elevate my frequency and go to the next level. You're going to have many dark nights of the soul encounters. You're going to have many circumstances in your life that's going to make you feel like you've died so many times. I've been there, I've done that, and done that. It feels as though I'm on my 7th life. Man, I love you guys. Man, I hope something was said in this session or this live stream that has encouraged you, that has helped you understand some things, that's helped you get rid of some negative thought process or belief systems. Hope something was shared that turned on the light for you. It's encouraged you, inspired you, empowered you. I love you guys. Man, my queen and I love you. We're so grateful for each and every one of you. We're grateful that you guys get on these lives and you guys stay with us because I could get long-winded sometimes, you know what I mean? And man, it is what it is. But I'm grateful for you guys. I thank you guys. Namaste. The God in me, the love, the light within me sees, recognizes, acknowledges, and cherishes the love, the light within each and every one of you. Namaste. Happy healing. We love you. Peace.